So now we are going to talk about creating the data for data mining. That means since we are here totally dependent on our data. So this data, it has to be created in a proper way. There are various steps that we need to follow to create our data for the data mining process. So the data mining process, it can be broken down into 4 primary stages. The first is data gathering. Second is data preparation. Third is mining the data. And fourth is data analysis and interpretation. Talking about the first one, which is data gathering. Data gathering means collecting the data. Relevant data for an analytics application, it is identified and assembled. Now, this data, it can be located in different source systems, a data warehouse or a data lake, and increasingly common repository in big data environment which contain a mix of structured and unstructured data. That means the very first step is to gather the data. If we want to make analysis on any particular viewer of our application, so what is the first thing that we require related to that viewer? We require to gather the data related to him. We need to collect the data related to that viewer, that what are his liking, what are his disliking. So the relevant data for the analytic application, it is identified, and once the data has been gathered, it has been identified, it has to be assembled properly, and it has to be located, it has to be stored into some proper source system. Various data sources, they are being used. Various databases, various flat files, XML files or data warehouses, they have to be used to store this gathered data. So when we talk about creating data for the data mining, the first thing that we require here is to gather the data. That is the first step. Now, our second step for creating the data for data mining is data preparation. This stage, it includes a set of steps to get the data ready to be mined. Whatever data that we have collected, it has to be prepared in a proper way. It has to be clean, it has to be refined, it has to be made into such a quality so that it can produce some effective result. So data preparation has to be done, which will involve a set of steps to get the data ready to be mined. And starts with data exploration, profiling and pre-processing, followed by data cleansing work to fix the errors and other data quality issues. Various quality issues can be there in the data, various errors can be there since the data, it might come. Usually we are not nowadays making files and storing our data. Where are we storing our data? We are storing our data onto the computer system in the form of certain databases, in the form of certain files. So when we keep on working on those databases, some error might occur because of collection of so much data. So those data, it has to be corrected. The errors in the data has to be fixed. So those fixing of errors, that would be done. Or whatever data quality related issues are there, those have to be rectified whenever we are doing this task of data preparation. Data transformation, it is also done to make the data set consistent. It should not be that our data, it is just in a haphazard form. That means one data, it will signify something, other data, it signifies something. No, we have to make the data consistent so that the analysis of data becomes easy. So this data, it has to be converted into a consistent form so that it produces something effective. So the data preparation, it is the next step when we are creating the data for the data mining. Now the third step will be mining the data. Now once the data is prepared, our data scientist, he chooses the appropriate data mining technique and then implements one or more algorithm to do the mining. Later on in this unit, we are going to be discussing about algorithms and different algorithms that are required for the data mining. So whenever we have to mine our data, the data which is prepared, on that data, a data scientist who has to choose an appropriate data mining technique. He has to implement a proper algorithm to do this mining process. Data is there. Now we have to mine that data. That means we have to extract something important from that data. We have to convert this data into information. Like we can say, what is data here? If we are referring to, if we get any particular name like Peter, if we get any particular college name like any university name like Symbiosis. So this is all form of data. Now we have to convert it into some useful information that Peter is a student of Symbiosis University. So that is one particular form of information related to Peter. So that is what we need to extract. We need to convert this data into a particular information. So we need to mine it. In various data mining or machine learning application, the algorithm, typically they must be trained on the sample data set to look for the information being sought before they are run against the full set of data. So once the data has been prepared, we have to mine the data. We have to use a proper data mining technique. We have to implement a proper algorithm to mine our data. So this is the third step that is required when we need to create the data for the data mining. Now the fourth and the last step would be data analysis and interpretation. The data mining results, they are used to create analytical models that can help derive decision making and other business actions. That means we have to analyze our data. The data mining results, they are used to create some analytical model so that they can help us derive certain decision making. Depending on this data that we have mined, we need to take certain business action. We need to make further future plans for our business. We need to make more strategies depending on this data. So all the business actions here, they will be dependent on the analysis of this data. The data scientist or another member of a data scientist team, they also must communicate the finding to the business executive and the users, often through some data visualization and the use of data storytelling technique. Like we have various data visualization tools, like we have certain reports, we have certain dashboards which can be used to see whatever data we have mined, whatever data we have analyzed. It has to be communicated to various business executives because they are the one who are going to take further strategic decisions. So whatever data has been mined, data scientist or any other member of the data science team, they have to communicate these findings that have been produced using this data mining technique to other users, to other executives, to other analysts or other managers of the organization. That is done using certain data visualization or using certain data storytelling techniques. So these are the 4 steps which are required for basically creating the data for the data mining. So the 4 steps that we have seen here, the first is data gathering, second is data preparation, third is mining the data, and the fourth is data analysis and interpretation. These are the 4 steps which are required for creating the data for the data mining. Now, we are going to discuss here data mining model. A data mining model, it refers to a method that usually used to represent the information in various ways in which they can apply the information to specific questions and problems. Data mining model basically like if we have produced the data for a customer, now we need to ask certain question that whether this particular customer, he likes this thing, whether he will buy this product. If we are talking about OTT, So whether he is going to watch this movie, should we recommend this movie to him? So specific question have to be raised. Questions, when these are raised, they have to be answered. So various data mining models here, they will help us in answering these sort of questions. So a data mining model, it will refer to a method that is usually used to present the information in various ways, in which they can apply the information to certain specific question, to certain specific problems. If we talk about the types of data mining models, we have two types of data mining model. The first is a predictive data mining model. Second is a descriptive data mining model. Talking about the first one, which is a predictive data mining model. A predictive data mining model, it will predict the values of data using the known results gathered from the different set of data. It will predict the value of data. That means if a person watches a movie, now we have to predict whether if we recommend the next movie to him, will he watch it? So that value has to be predicted. How will that value be predicted? Using various data mining techniques. We will analyze everything about that customer, about that viewer, and then we have to predict our result. So a predictive data mining model, it will predict the value of data using the known results which are gathered from different data sets. That means we have seen what all movies that particular person has watched. So depending on that data, we will predict, will this person watch this movie? Should we recommend this to him? So that prediction has to be made, so that if our prediction is correct, so that particular person is more likely to be stuck on our particular platform of OTT. So that is predictive data mining modeling. So the main objective of predictive data mining modeling is to predict the future based on the past data, generally, but not always on the statistical modeling. Means depending on his previous data, depending on his previous past data, we are going to predict the future. Like if a person is doing online shopping using certain website like Myntra, let's say. So if on Myntra he has bought a red dress, there's a girl who has bought a red dress for herself. Next time, what product should we recommend her? Should we recommend some blue necklace to her? Will she buy it? No, she will not buy it. But there are chances if we recommend something related to her choice. If she has bought a red dress, we might recommend her with a red necklace, with red shoes, with some more red accessories, nail paints, red nail paint, or something which matches her requirement. So that thing has to be analyzed. We have to predict the future. And if the prediction goes correct, the person, that particular customer, he is going to make more of purchases. So that will definitely improve the profitability of our business. So to predict the future based on the past data is what we do in the predictive data mining model. This predictive data modeling, it is used in the healthcare industries. How? To identify the high-risk patient with congestive heart failures, to determine high blood pressure, diabetes, infection, cancer. So in healthcare industries, also this predictive data mining model can be used so that we can predict if a person, he is having this particular disease, what are the chances of him having any more side effect related to that disease. If a person is having diabetes, are there chances that he is going to have high blood pressure too? So that is the prediction that we have to make. This is how it is used in healthcare industries too. It is also used in vehicle insurance company to assign the risk of accidents to the policy holder. If we talk about the insurance company, they have to assign the risk of accident to the policy holder. The risk of accident, since we need to predict that, we need to analyze that depending on the kind of vehicle he uses, depending on the previous data, we need to analyze everything, and that is how we need to assign the risk of accident to the policy holder. So there also we are using this predictive data mining model. So the very first model that we are going to talk about here is predictive data mining model that we use for our data mining. Second is the descriptive model. So the descriptive model, it will differentiate the pattern and relationship in the data. In descriptive model, what do we do? If we have a certain set of data, we have to differentiate between the different patterns. That if a person he follows this pattern, then how to differentiate it from the other patterns. So we have to differentiate between the patterns and the relationships in the data. Descriptive analytics, they focus on the summarization and the conversion of data into useful information so that they can be utilized for the reporting and for the monitoring. So a descriptive model here, it does not attempt to generalize to a statistical population or the random process. Like we have seen in the predictive model, what was happening? Depending on the previous data, future data was to be predicted. But in descriptive model, it does not attempt to generalize to a statistical population. It will not generalize that if this is so, this has to be the another step. If one step is known, then this would be the next step. This would be the next step. This descriptive model, it does not attempt to generalize to it. While a predictive model, it attempts to generalize to a population or the random process. Predictive model, they should give the prediction interval and they must be cross-validated. That is, they must prove that they can be used to make the predictions with data that was not used in constructing the model. So that is the difference between the predictive model and the descriptive model. In predictive model, what is happening? We were predicting the future. Depending on the past data, we are predicting the future. That if a customer buys this product, what are the chances that the customer will buy this product again? If there's a person, every month he comes to the store for making some to shops for some kind of groceries. If that particular customer he buys one product for 5 continuous months, we can very easily predict that that customer will buy that product for the 6th month too. So that is how the predictive modeling works. So we have to make sure that that particular brand, that particular product, it is available in our store, because we have come to know the tendency of our customer that he is buying this product for continuous 5 months. So definitely there are chances that this particular person will buy that product the next month too. And if that particular product, it is not available in your store and you know that customer requires it, what will he do? He will go to some other store and he will buy the product. So that is how that retention of customer will not be there. So that is why we use this predictive data modeling to predict the future depending on the past data. And the descriptive data modeling, where it is being used, it is used to differentiate between the various patterns and the relationships in the data. When it comes to differentiating that this particular customer, he buys this product, he does not buy this product. That differentiation, that relationship in the data, when we talk about that, so that comes under the category of descriptive modeling.